Fermentation is the heart of what we do at Fishhawk Spirits. What we do is we take complex carbohydrates, complex saccharides, and we reduce them to yeast-accessible saccharides in order to form the alcohol that we then later distill. This is an example of how this occurs. This is a yeast, a highly specialized yeast that we use. I'm putting it in some warm water. And what you'll notice through this video is that it will begin to bloom, that it is going to activate. When it activates, it's going to activate in its aerobic life cycle. What it will be doing is synthesizing the dissolved oxygen that is in the liquid that it's in. When that occurs, the yeast replicate. We do that in the big fermenters here when we're processing our wash and beer. And what happens is the yeast activates, we supply it with dissolved oxygen that keeps it in its aerobic life cycle, and that allows it to replicate into a very large yeast colony. Once we get to the size that we wish, we then deprive it of oxygen. The large yeast colony consumes the residual dissolved oxygen and then stresses. And when it stresses, it goes into its anaerobic life cycle. Once that occurs, it can no longer replicate. But if we've done our job properly, like Robert did on this little jar of simple syrup, the small saccharides that are yeast accessible are there, and the yeast colony can stay alive by synthesizing the saccharides and stay alive. They can no longer replicate. There's not enough energy. But when they do synthesize the sugars, there are two byproducts exactly equal by weight. One is carbon dioxide gas, which is why fermenting things bubble. It's why we're vented in every way. And the other is ethyl alcohol. That's actually how we make the alcohol. Everything downstream in the stills and filters is concentrating and purifying. This is the biggest point of our entire operation. Where's it blooming?